About a burglary that occurred Friday night into the early mornings of Saturday morning. A tailor shop on the airport road was broken into sometime during the hours of closing and reopening the next morning. In that period, the person or persons who committed the burglary stole the number of police uniforms that were either being tailored or constructed for us. Although we don't have any new leads on this, I just wanted to emphasize the seriousness of this matter. These types of clothing articles being out there in the public can be used for a variety of reasons, which none of them would be proper. Our police officers have a distinct uniform for a reason. We're the authority, we're doing the job of policing. So for individuals to steal these items, we can only speculate as to what use they'll be put to. To combat this, we have the matter being looked into by our Criminal Investigation Division. Being looked into by our Criminal Investigation Division. We've also put together a team that will just focus on this crime, because we want these uniforms off the streets if it's all we can get them, or we can identify the persons that are responsible. Also, we're really stressing to people, the general public, that there is a need to question our officers until we get to the bottom of this. If you do not feel that the person you're speaking to is a police officer, do not be afraid to ask them to see their badge, to see their warrant card, and or call 911 and say that there's persons asking questions that you're just not sure they're a police officer. So those are the kind of the steps. We want the public to engage with us. If they have any information concerning this event, we would love for them to pass it on to us through our Criminal Investigation Division, through our 911, or through Crime Stoppers. Whatever they wish to do, but we do need the information. We do want these uniforms off the streets.
Approximately how many?
That is the problem that we're facing right now. Our investigators have been to the store, to the tailor shop. He was unsure as to how many he was working on. So we're trying to go through our processes with our officers to try to determine who had uniforms here that were being tailored or being altered, plus what he had started making for us. So that's a work in progress right now.
And what will the police do to prevent this from happening again?
We've already sent our investigators to speak to the owners of the tailor shop. That when you're working on something like this material has to be secured. It has to be accounted for, and it just can't be laying on shelves where people can see it and people would take the opportunity to take it.
You think the criminals are getting smarter?
I don't think they're getting smarter. I think they're smart enough as it is. I think this is an opportunity that a vulnerability that we may have that we need to close up the loop a bit on. So it's this time of year, we're going into December, we're going into the Christmas season. Business owners, public, security companies have to be aware and have to be cognizant of what this could lead to.
And due to this recent situation, have you beefed up patrols in certain areas?
We have. We've put out more patrols. We're relying on our officers to communicate with the public, communicate with the business community and the security companies, and to really reach out there and see if somebody's seeing or hearing something that will be of assistance to us.
And who would be contacted if we see someone in a false police uniform?
Call 911 immediately. 911 will dispatch. Our officers are very aware of this. All of our officers are very aware of this and the potential that it brings. So they'll be responding immediately.
And will we see the beefing up of police presence going on into the Christmas season throughout?
That was part of our strategy anyways. Into December we were talking about new patrols. You may not see them all because they won't be uniformed, all of them, but it's just to beef up everything we've got, and because we don't want a December like last December. So we're really striving to put more officers on the streets, around businesses, places where there's money, valuables exchanged on a regular basis.
From your investigations, do you know if there are any other stuff that's stolen, or just police uniform?
My understanding is there was other clothing stolen, but once again, we don't know the amounts.
Well, if I could also add too, we are presently looking into, also want to add that we are presently looking to offering a reward for the return of the stolen uniforms, and also want to remind the public that every measure is being put in place to ensure that this type of incident doesn't happen again. And I think we've decided to take an approach that we deal with the police uniforms like it's a firearm, and make sure that every measure is taken that the uniforms are not people wouldn't get access to the uniforms easily. So we want to show the public that this sort of incident won't be happening again. Every measure is being made to ensure that.
When you approach someone to work on behalf of the police, what are some of the considerations taken into effect?
Well, I think up till this point, there has been a lot of considerations. You know, you need your uniforms altered, you need certain things done, you approach the company that's available to do them locally, and that's what we've been doing. You know, hindsight being 2020, we probably should be doing a security review of his establishment to see how he does secure his establishment, what is kept there, what should be locked up better, what measures he has to take to have our business, because it is a very unique, this uniform is very important to the country. So we should be, if we haven't already, is really taking the steps to ensure that the contractors we deal with to do such things are taking all the security measures that they need to take.
In many countries, police forces have their own tailors.
Yes.
Are you looking into that?
I don't think we're looking into that right now. I would suggest that, you know, down the road, yes, that may be, but an organization the size that we are probably wouldn't be able to support someone full-time to be our own tailor and that sort of thing. There's not that many uniforms being made on a constant basis or altered on a constant basis. It's yes, there are police forces with their own tailors. There's police forces that have their own stores that they buy off the rack or off the shelf. So it isn't a case of being made, it's purchased and it's secured in our establishments. So these are things that we'll review moving forward and see if we can find a way to handle it.
What about the description of the uniform? Was it the normal?
Yes. It
Or
is.
the khaki?
No, it's the normal working beat and patrol uniform that's been taken.
Any leads on that?
No. At this point, my investigators haven't informed me or updated me with any potential leads or suspects or persons of interest at this time.
Right, and I also want to add to that, no police hats were stolen. So when you see a police officer, we would like to stress, if you have any doubts, ask them to produce their warrant card and their badge. That's something that they don't have. So this is something that we like to press upon the public, that they can still feel confident that they are dealing with an actual police officer once they present that warrant card and badge to them.
So the same rules go for the big businesses if they're approached by this big
Definitely.
officer?
Yes, definitely. Don't be afraid to ask the question. I mean, our officers are to communicate with the public, and so, you know, they should accept the question openly, know why it's being asked, and respond appropriately.